Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Today I Want to Be Career Exploration interview. I'm so excited for our professional that's going to be here on the show today. Today, we actually have an eye doctor, and we actually have um, Hanaya on the show as well. So now, Dr. David Dada is a professional eye doctor. And the reason why I call him an eye doctor just throughout the show is just because, I know we are working with students. Sometimes they might not know what the big word means. Sometimes adults don't even know what the big word means, even if they have never had to, have glasses or anything or get their eyes checked. So Dr. Dada is going to talk to us a lot more about exactly what he does. But one of the great things about this show is college students, high schoolers, middle schoolers, and adults can actually ask Dr. Dada more about his profession as well, because it's all about career exploration. If this is your first time ever tuning into the show, make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about Today I Want to Be, as well as Dr. Dada as well. Now, another great thing about this show is all of Dr. Dada's contact information is listed in the description box. So you might say to yourself, man, I really want my child to be an eye doctor, but I just couldn't ask it on the show. That's okay. You can go ahead and reach out to Dr. Dada as well. Make sure you also visit our website, todayiwantobe.com, and that's the number 2b.com. So you can actually see all of the products that we have, that Dr. Dada, as well as 11 other Black men and 12 other and actually 24 Black women are featured in as well, because it's all about career exploration. One of the things that we do, we add a different gender and ethnicity every year to our product line. So for 2022, I'm looking for Hispanic women. If you are a Hispanic or a Latina that enjoys doing what you do, you have to love your job. I want more Hispanic little girls to know exactly what you do and explore your career as well. So don't think that Black women and men, I'm excluding you. I'm not. We'll have Black women, Black men, and Hispanic women in our product line for 2022. So also in that description box, it will have a link where you can sign up to be featured in our products. Or if you are a student, you're a middle schooler or you're a high schooler, and you want to ask our professionals questions, you can be a hire yourself, and you can be on the show and ask our professionals questions. Make sure you go ahead and sign up in that description box link as well. So Dr. Dada and Hanaya, thank you guys so much for just being here on the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. So Dr. Dada, if you could just let the viewers know just a little bit more about yourself and why. Yeah, just let them know a little bit more about yourself. I'm always quick to be like, why do you become an eye doctor? But don't answer that question yet. So go ahead and let them know a little bit more about yourself.
So yeah, I'm Dr. David Dada. I'm an optometrist here in Apopka, Florida. Um, Grew up in the area, so it's kind of like home, coming back home after going to school. And I mean, I'm in my practice now. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to take any of the questions away.
No,
but
yeah, don't say too much. That's good enough. You did great. Oh, so Hanaya, can you tell the viewers what grade you're in, what you enjoy doing, and what you want to be when you grow up?
I'm in ninth grade.
Woo-hoo,
I
freshman.
I enjoy a lot of things, but I mainly enjoy hanging out with my family. And when I grow up, I want to be a neurosurgeon.
Come on,
Okay.
neurosurgeon. That's what
Okay.
I'm talking about, girl. So let me ask you something, Hanaya. Why did you even want to interview Dr. Dada if you already know you want to be a neurosurgeon?
Well, it's cool to figure out, to find out how other people chose the career that they went into,
Mhm.
and because although we're not going to be doing the same thing, he's also in the medical field, and so knowing how he got there and if he think it paid off is gonna be very insightful.
That's good.
Good.
So, Dr. Dada, I'll start with my first question. Are there a lot of Black males and females in your profession?
Huh. No. So no, we're obviously I mean, just like in most fields, we're the minority, but especially in optometry. So even in my class, I always tell people that in my class there was out of a 90, there's about 100 of us. There's five,
Wow.
five.
Give us five. That sounded a little bit
I'll
better.
I'll give you
Give us some
five.
hope.
There's five. There's three guys and two girls out of the 100. And then only four. One had to leave because of financial issues, but there's only four of us that graduated out of the 100.
So were all of them, or all of the four black, or just minority?
So all four are black.
Okay.
Minorities is probably like 8. So we're still, it's still a low number. And then even in the Orlando area, it's probably like 10, 15 at most.
Wow. And Orlando is huge.
Exactly. And so I mean, I don't want to steal any, but that's one of the reasons why I decided to become a doctor and decided to open up my own practice, because there wasn't many people that looked like us and serving people like us. So
that's good.
That was part of my inspiration.
So let me ask you one other question before Hanaya comes to her question. Why do you think the numbers are so low specifically for blacks in your field? Like, what's your thought?
I honestly would feel, because I kind of fell into this too, it's just exposure. So with optometry, it's exposure. I was never exposed to optometry until later on in my college career. So I mean, I always had, and it's funny because I had glasses, since elementary, but it was never like put towards me that this is a career path. What, in career days or in school is always, a medical doctor, or like a, primary care physician, or a lawyer, a nurse. So optometry wasn't, even though everyone had glasses, like most people had glasses, contacts, most people, got the yearly exam and, different things like that. That was never, portrayed towards me. And I've never seen a black optometrist until optometry school. So I never had that exposure. So I think to me that kind of plays a role. And that's why I like to do things like this, because I mean, it puts optometry out there, because I mean, it's a great profession, and it's much needed, especially for our people.
Yeah, and that's why I was just so like, when people when I reach out to professionals and they say yes, they'll do it. Like, after you guys know everything you got to do, because they got to do a lot, y'all. It's more than just a picture that you see on the website. But I just got so excited. I was like, oh my gosh! So I'm just so thankful that you were willing to be a part of our product, so more Black kids and youth can see, like, course, Dr. Dada, I can do it. I can do it too.
That's why I tell you, if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Yeah. So Hanaya, go ahead with your first question.
Okay, so I know you said that you were introduced to optometry in college, but what introduced you to it? Did you just see it as a list of some things you could study, or was it an actual experience that made you look at it?
So for me, I don't know if this is a question, but I always wanted to do something in the medical field. I just never wanted to deal with like blood and broke bones and different things like that. I was, I enjoyed it in school, but I was like, do I want to do that for the rest of my life? And I was like, no. I wanted to do more patient interaction, more figuring things out that way with patients. So I actually started off as dentistry.
Really?
Then I saw someone's tooth get yanked out, and I was like, no, that's not. So then I switched over to pharmacy, because these are all the stuff that was exposed to me, dentist, pharmacist, blah, blah. So this is a pharmacy to kind of, see if I liked it. I was like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty chill. I shadowed, and I was like, no, this is boring for me. Not to anyone else, but for me. And then, so I kind of was still searching, my last couple of years in college on what else, I would like. And then I went to get my first pair of contacts in college. And so after the experience, after the exam, after, all of
Uh-oh. And now we lost Dr. Dada. Dr.
Is he
Dada,
frozen
you're
for you?
frozen. I tell you, when technology work, y'all, it work. But while Dr. Dada's uh, screen is unthawing, thawing out, go ahead and let us know what you all wanted to be when you grew up, and let us know, did it actually happen for you or not, as well. So let's see. So let me ask you something, Hanaya. I know that you said that you wanted to be a neurosurgeon. Why did you actually choose that field to go into?
Well, so okay, so I knew I wanted to be in the medical field as well. That's always something that I wanted to do, and and so then I had narrowed it down to either neuro or cardio.
Okay.
And then I took anatomy and physiology over the whole COVID like spring break slash summer break thing. And I had to there was a specific module on the heart, and there was also a specific module on the brain and the neurons and all that stuff.
Okay.
And I was learning about the heart, and I was like, this is kind of boring. Like it's still exciting, of course, like
Uh-huh.
okay, but it was really boring to me. And then I learned about the brain, and it was so fascinating. All the things that the brain can do, all the things that I could learn from, if I studied the brain, I could
Mhm.
learn so much more, develop so much more things to help people
Mhm.
if I studied the brain rather than if I studied the heart. Heart is good and all that, but the brain just it spoke to me and it stood out to me more than any other part of the body
Feel.
could have.
Yeah, I think I'm telling you, girl. I can't wait to, like, don't forget us little people when you become a neurosurgeon, because I just think that is so cool. Like I've never even read about a black neurosurgeon, so I would love, man. Can we stay in contact? I'm just, you know, say it's contact so I can feature you. But Dr. Dada, I know that you were saying you were answering that last question. I'm glad you thought out.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, um, um, but yeah. So yeah, I was exposed. So for me, it was more, I never was exposed to it, so it never
Yeah.
clicked. So when I finally got to see it in action, by either shadowing, by experience an exam, and kind of, I was at the point where I was looking, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I did more research, and like I said, I shadowed and worked, and I was like,
But I'm a little confused though, because you were in college already and this was undergrad.
yeah.
Okay, so in undergrad, you wanted to become a dentist. What was
Uh,
your major?
so it was always biology. I stayed biology, but there's like a pre-dental track, a pre-pharmacy track, and
Okay.
um,
So it's okay to
pre-op.
start with biology and then just
Yeah.
go into whatever track you want to.
So the main thing is, I mean, with each school, they have different criteria of classes that you need to take. And I mean, most of them for most medical school, pharmacy, dentistry, optometry, it's all similar initially. There might be some nuances for some classes, but they're all pretty similar. So for me, I did biology because it covered everything. It had all the classes I needed. So I didn't really have to kind of pick and choose. I mean, for those who are looking to do it, I mean, I wouldn't say you have to do biology because I had some friends that did business and they just took the prereqs. Did psychology, did the prereqs that they needed. They did APK, which is anatomy and physiology, and just the prereqs that they needed, stuff like that.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily have to be, because that's what I thought. I thought you had to do biology to be able to go into, medical or optometry or any of that schools, but you don't necessarily have to.
That's what I thought. I mean,
Yeah,
I never knew that
yeah,
you could just, like you said, like you could have a business major, and then as long as you take those prereqs,
yeah,
then you venture off
yeah.
into
I guess I
your
just say
specific
biology because
field.
it just makes it easier because it already has all the classes you need.
Yeah.
So with the other majors, you take those major classes and you have to add the prereqs for a different school, which is fine. I mean, a bunch of my friends did it, so.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead,
You talking
Hanaya.
about that? It makes me have another question. So I know you can major in anything, but do you believe that it makes it easier if you want to go into the medical field to major in biology?
Um, so there's different types. So I mean, if you just want it easy without even thinking, yeah, biology because it has everything you need. But to me, the general biology major is very broad. So you're gonna learn about worms, you're gonna learn about cats, you're gonna learn about humans. But for me, I just want to learn about the human body. So I should have been more specific on like either human biology or anatomy, physiology, and kinesiology. Something that's more catered towards
Mm.
human biology. And then still because there's a bunch of biology classes, so you don't necessarily have to do general biology. You could do the specific biology, and then there might be some classes you might have to add or you don't necessarily need, but a biology major makes it easier. Yeah.
So say it a little bit slower. Because you said you specified in a couple of biology classes. I mean, like majors. Can you say those specific biology majors a little bit slower that you said? If a person wanted to just do like the human biology.
Yeah, so I mean, this is when I was an undergrad. I mean,
Yeah,
things
yeah, yeah.
things have
It's
changed.
changed.
So I mean,
Probably changed yesterday.
I don't know. So I mean, I know I had a friend personally that she did, and we were on the same track, and she
Okay.
switched. We were both general biology, and she switched to anatomy, physiology, and kinesiology. She kind of wanted to do, medical, and then a more like sports therapy.
Oh, okay.
Um, but we were all in the same classes, and then she actually, when I was still taking like classes on entomology, which is like worms and this random general
Yeah.
biology classes, she was doing more, like clinicals and internships because that's the
Mm,
track she took. And I was like, man, I should have done that. And she actually graduated early, so I was like, I should have done
like,
that
dang,
too.
nabbit.
Yeah, so I should have done that too. But that's
Uh-huh.
all the stuff I learned afterwards. So, I mean, even now since you have the idea, you can talk to your financial advice, uh, school advisor, and they'll tell you, hey, these are different tracks that you can take. Because for me, I didn't. I just like biology. Duh. That's
Mhm.
But I didn't know there's so many other ways you could use the same goal.
But I know that you were saying that, when you were in college, that's when you went to go get your contacts. And that's when you start thinking about, okay, well, maybe I can become an eye doctor as well. Um, but since you have never seen, are you just that type of person that like, I don't care what race they are. Like, if I believe I can
Yeah,
do something, I can
yeah,
do it.
yeah.
So even if because you didn't even see anybody that
Mm,
looked like you being an eye doctor, you were still like, okay, I like it, I'm gonna do it.
yeah. So for me, I always wanted to be a doctor. So I was like, I was like, where would my niche be? Like I didn't want to deal with blood and broke bones all day, but I still wanted to help people. So there were certain careers that weren't as invasive or whatever, like the
Yeah,
dentistry, the pharmacy, I was even thinking podiatry, different things like that.
yeah.
Um, and because I didn't know anybody, that even motivated me more. Like, okay,
Mm.
that's like I need to be the one that made it. And I have my
Okay.
parents. My parents were like, you if whatever you do, you need to do it.
Yeah.
Especially because there's not people that look like you. That should motivate you to push even harder.
Oh, that's great.
So yeah, that's why I was like, I gotta, no matter what, I'm gonna find a way.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Okay. Hanaya, go ahead with your next question. Hanaya, you
All
trying to
right.
set the mood in
No, I was using a light and it just turned
you
off
just
on
turned
me.
off.
But okay, so my next question is what was the most challenging thing about your job?
Right now, where I'm at now, or is in
Um,
optometry,
Both.
um the
Let's hear
whole just
both.
the whole thing.
during the whole process.
Um, so I mean, I'll separate in two facets. So when I first started optometry, I was just kind of working at different offices, working for different doctors or different companies. I guess initially the most difficult thing was trusting myself to know that I was qualified and knowing that I knew what I was, what I was taught.
Mhm.
Um, because patients will let you know that they don't trust you because of what you look like,
Mm.
how young you look. Um, they've never seen you before, you know.
Yeah.
So if you don't act like a doctor that you are, the patients would, they feed off that. Because first of all, they're already skeptical because I don't look a certain way,
Yeah.
or I look young to them. I get that all the time. Or they'll say, "Oh, you should be playing basketball," stuff like that.
Yeah, because he is
Yeah.
tall. Tell him how tall you are.
I'm a little tall, 6'5", just a little bit.
Talk about a little bit.
But I guess initially I was like trusting myself, knowing that I was capable. I know what I was taught the right thing. I passed. I got my degree. I got the letters in front of my name,
Mhm.
after my name. So not letting that get to me. And then, I mean, initially this is more detail like charting. Learning how to properly chart. You don't stay late all day.
Mm.
Um, and then now
And
would
charting
be,
is just making your notes after you
yeah,
finish with a patient.
after you finish the patients, all the things you've seen, the treatment, the plan, the management.
Okay.
But that all comes with time. But initially it was hard because you're taught one way in school. Actually, in the real world, it's
Yeah.
not the same. But and then where I'm at now, because I currently own my own practice. So the hardest thing now of owning a business is employees.
I hope they not watching.
I hope they are.
He's so funny.
But it's not necessarily like they're bad. It's just kind of maintaining employees because that's not nothing you deal with. If you're working for someone.
That's true.
Now you have the patient side, which after you get comfortable. For me, I've been doing it for a couple of years, so I might know how to see patients, treat patients. I'm not worried about that. Now it's the business side that they don't teach you in school. So that's kind of learning, on the fly or learning with different resources or consulting with people and then learning how to maintain employees because now it's not just yourself you're dealing with someone else and paying someone else and how they feel about the job. And then you have to deal with how the patients feel about the job. But at the end of the day, it's worth it. But that's what I'm, learning now, trying to deal and handle.
Yeah. Yeah. That's excellent. And um, talk to us a little bit about how you deal with patients that's never seen somebody that looks like you, because I know that I was reading something my friend wrote, and he's a doctor, he's a black doctor, black young doctor. And he would say, like, some people don't even want me to treat them because I am black. How do you handle things like that? First of all, I don't even understand, like, how do you not know what this doctor may look like, especially since this is your office? But even if you were in another office, like, how did you handle those type of patients? Like, how do you recommend somebody handle
Um, so for me, my person, I don't take anything serious, um, unless you're like disrespecting someone else or
that?
like my
Okay.
family, my wife, whatever. But if you're coming at me and I know either you don't really know what you're talking about, you're just being naive, you're either just judging, you're being just extra. I don't let that bother me. So I kind of not necessarily laugh it off, but I always kind of make light of it
Mm-hmm.
because they're trying to. I mean, not all patients are like that. Some patients are just curious. They're like, "Wow, I've never seen that," and okay.
Okay.
But some patients are saying it because they have alternative motives or they want to get a reaction out of you to be like, "Yeah, I knew it."
Mm-hmm.
That's why you don't see people like you because you're X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I always make a joke of it because I'll hear "Oh, you look young." I'm like, okay, thank you, or you look young too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I've never seen you before. I was like, I've never seen you either.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Like you're not gonna ask any other doctor that. You don't go to office and
That's
say,
so
"I never."
true.
Duh, this is our first time.
Uh-huh.
So like, or oh, you should be playing basketball. Like, yeah, I should be, like, but I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll try and make light of it
Yeah.
because they're like I said, they're trying to make get a reaction out of you, and then they're trying to just test you to see if you meet their criteria. And then I just give them best service or the same service I give everybody else. Best quality service I give everybody else. Um, so they can have nothing to kind of beat off, be like, oh, I knew they don't know, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's too young, or he just
Yeah.
barely passed or whatever.
Fairly fast.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Uh,
because like I tell them, I treat everybody, I'm gonna treat you like if my mom was in the chair. So I mean, I don't care what you look like or how you are. If you came to me for help, my job is to give you the best care, and that's what I'm gonna do. So afterwards, they can't say anything. They can't say, they're like, oh wow, that's a good, you did a good job. I'm like, yeah, I know.
I,
What do you expect?
sickening.
Yeah.
Sickening.
So I mean, I don't let it get to me. I try to make light of it.
Okay.
And then, like I said, unless you're getting to a point where you're being disrespectful, then I'll actually leave. But outside of that, I mean, I'm gonna give you the same care I give everybody else, and I'm not gonna give you a reason to think otherwise.
That's good. That's good. Did you ever feel pressure though that you have to work like so much harder because you are a Black eye doctor?
Work, I would say it was more so there. I would have to kind of. I don't like. So it was more like I'd have to just make sure, like I said, I don't give them a reason to think otherwise. Like I'm there's nothing different than my brain than your brain, like
Right.
in school, like I'm the same student. For me, I'm a different with studying. Like I just had to work harder, period, because I'm not
Mm,
I'm more visual. So like all the reading and stuff like that, I just have to keep reading. While people have to read it once, they're good. I just have to keep going over and over. This is how I study. And I have to study in groups and different things like that. So I mean, it wasn't more. I try not to get in the mindset like, oh, I have to prove myself to you per se. It was just like, I'm gonna do this for myself. I'm gonna,
yeah.
because I want to be a doctor, and I'm not gonna give you a reason to think otherwise.
Yeah.
Because once I do, then you're gonna latch onto that. Um, but I just know that they're either from teachers, from professors, or from clinic directors or anything like that. They always were looking, at me a certain way, or because there wasn't much like people like me in clinic or whatever. But I didn't let that phase me. I was like, okay, I'm here for a reason. God put me here for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm I have the same brain as every other student, so
That's
uh,
good.
do the best that I can do.
I love that. And Dr. Dada, can you speak to those students? And even let's first just focus on the students. Can you speak to those students who know they have a vision of what they want to be and what they want to do, and not even so far as when they get older, but anything that they're doing right now, but they have somebody, maybe somebody that's older, like in your situation, like a teacher that's constantly say, oh, you can't do such and such, or sometimes people don't even say the words, but
Yeah.
just that vibe they give you, how they treat you, you can tell that there is something different in how they're treating you. How would you speak life into that, in that child or that young person, that you, regardless of who say you can't do something or the way they treat you, if you know you're going to do something and want to do something, keep pushing forward.
Yeah. I mean, no, I agree. So I would say you have to, have confidence in yourself and realize that we're all, we all, like I say, we all have the same brain. Like no one's brain per se is better than one other person. Is you might have to work a different way, you know, implement other things, other strategies. If you're not the best studier like me, maybe you have to study in a group, or if you're not, the best note taker, work with someone that does take good notes, and maybe get a copy from them or whatever it is.
Mhm.
But you can't let nobody um, tell you can't do anything, because they're not you.
Mhm.
Like how can someone say you can't do it, but they're not even, they're not you doing it. If
Yeah.
that makes sense. Like if you're telling yourself, yeah, you can't do it because you can't, you got a broke leg, you can't jump. Okay, that makes sense. But
Yeah.
if someone's in the chair next to you saying, oh, you can't stand up, and I'm like, how do you know? You're not my body. You're not. You have not. You have nothing. You know.
Mhm.
Uh, no hold on me. Um, for me, it was more like you need to be motivating yourself, knowing that you can do it. Like I said, if I could do it, anybody could do it.
Mhm.
People are, have done it before. People that look like us have done it before, so it's possible. Um, we just have to be able to not let people's, outside influences affect how we react, because it's possible.
That's
I
good.
mean, I'm a believer, and if God says I'm gonna do it, no matter what he said,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna happen. So, uh, yeah, just it's more so like, you have to get that motivation from within. You can't seek that motivation from someone else, because they're all gonna fail you. They're all
Mm-hmm.
gonna
Mm-hmm.
fail. So, like I
That's
said, if I
good.
could do it,
That's good. And I mean, I piggyback on what you said. Don't let somebody else's limitations on what they
yeah.
couldn't do
And a
reflect
lot
on
of times
what
it's
you
because
do.
they can't do it, so they just
Uh-huh.
they just don't want you to do it either, because they know,
Right.
they're feeling bad.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, there's plenty of, like, yeah, we might be the minority in certain careers, but there's plenty of uh, black doctors that have done it,
Mm-hmm.
black neurosurgeons that have done it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so if they can do it, you can do it too. There's nothing different than that. It's just the drive, the motivation, and then we
Yeah.
all have that. We just have to find it.
Yeah. And I really like the fact that you said that I am not you're a visual learner. And so, like with the reading, you had to work harder. Like maybe you
Yeah,
read things multiple times. And that's what I want people to know. Like, just because like there's maybe something that you may not be the best at, you might have to work 3 times
yeah,
harder to comprehend or pick it up. But that doesn't mean that it's nothing wrong with something being hard.
yeah,
Like, let's just get that out the way. It's okay that it's hard. But that doesn't, just because it's hard doesn't mean you have to stop. Like,
exactly.
you had to figure out how you could learn it to the best of your ability. So Hanaya, what's your next question?
Um, so when did you decide that you wanted to have your own practice?
When when I first started optometry school, I
Mm,
always knew I wanted to have my own. And for me, um, and even for my legacy, my kids, and all that stuff, you I just feel there is success when you have your own something, you have your own that you own. Because when you're working for someone, you're working under someone, they have that, they can set a limitation on what you could do, or they have some type of criteria, some type of ceiling where you can reach. Once you own it, you can do whatever you want. You could take it as high as you want, take it as low as you want. You could expand it as wide as you want. So for me, I never wanted to forever work for someone, because I knew that unless their ideas aligned perfectly with what I wanted, there's always going to be some type of limitation, some type of conflict, some type of. So for me, owning my own, I could take it where I want to. I know how I want to treat patients. I know how I want my practice to look. I know what I want to do, what type of services I want to offer. So when it's mine, I can do it. When it's someone else's, I have to go to the manager or the director. Can I please do this? Oh no, we don't. We don't have the money, or we don't have the time. And I was like,
what
So
did that? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
if you had your way, would you make your practice a family practice?
a family practice?
Hmm.
What do you mean? Like bring you on?
Like you know how like you'll pass it down to your kids, and then
Oh
your
yeah,
kids
no,
pass it down.
definitely. That's another reason why, for legacy. So like this is something. So first, for retirement and for legacy, so I can pass this down to my kids, and now my kids have something that they can own, and hopefully they want to be an eye doctor optometrist. But even if they don't, they can still own this and either manage it or pass it down, or do what they want with it. So I think that's big on with our people. We need something to be able to pass down to our kids. Because I mean, me personally, that's not, my parents came from Nigeria, so I don't know, go into too much detail. But my parents came from
Go
Nigeria.
into detail. We want to
No,
hear it.
my parents came from Nigeria uh, to give us a better life, basically. And so in Nigeria, it's different. That you have a farm, you have a different things that this is the family farm. So you keep here, you work here, and blah blah, and all that stuff. Coming here to America, that we didn't have all that. They had to start over. So it's not like when we were born, and all, it's not like they had here. This is our farm. This is our business. This is our office or whatever. Because they're both nurses. This is our clinic or whatever that we could pass you. But they always kind of instilled in us that we need, you need to own something. You need to, be an owner of something so you can pass it down to your kids, and then so no one can tell you what to do or how to run things. You know?
Mm.
Because unless, like I said, unless their view or their idea aligns exactly with yours, there's always going to be some type of patient, some type of, oh no, do this or stop that. And I was like,
Um, what fascinates you about medicine though? Because I know that you were telling us when you, it's probably even before college, like maybe even in high school, you wanted to go into the medical field. Like, what fascinates you about that, and what fascinates you about the eyes that you
Yeah.
wanted to make that your specialty?
I mean, like I said, both of my parents were nurses, so I was always kind
You
of
didn't tell
exposed
us
to the.
that.
Oh, sorry. So they both were
He
nurses
did say it.
Oh,
when they
girls,
Said
why
it
came.
you gonna
before
blow
the
Thank
me
you,
out like
recording.
thank
that,
you,
Hanaya?
Anaya.
Why
Thank
you
you.
gonna...
Listening.
My bad.
but both of my parents were nurses, so I was always exposed to the medical field.
Okay.
And so, and I always like sciences. I always like biology, and so just growing up, I always wanted to be a doctor. That's all I
Okay.
said. So going on in high school and college, it was trying to find which path made sense to me.
Okay.
And then for me, I just kind of started to search the ones that I was exposed to. I didn't know about eye and stuff, and so and I always wanted to help people because that's all So I saw my parents do. They're always helping people, and even outside of work, just my parents' nature was just helpful. If saw anybody in trouble, any family needs, they're the first ones to send money to send them over, have them stay at a house, whatever. So it was always that helpful mentality that was instilled in me. So I always wanted to help people in general.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I was like, what career can I choose with the path that interests me to be able to help people? And that was the medical field.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Yeah.
what fascinates you about the eyes in general?
Oh, I mean, for me, and just when I was exposed to this is something, I was like, man, I've been wearing glasses my whole life. Like, why? Like, like why did I need glasses and my parents didn't need glasses? Or why did us three kids need glasses and my parents were fine? And I was like,
Yeah.
that made no sense. And so all that kind of interests me on how important the eye was to people. So because if and people always ask if you could lose a sense, which one would you lose? And I was like, never the eye. I never want to lose my sight, because to me it's just so important. And just realizing, learning and realizing that the eye plays such a huge role in life, so it was like that, just all that kind of bundled together is what kind of led me to it.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Hanaya, you can go ahead with your next question.
Okay, so you talked about. I'm going a little bit off my questions
That's
that I
okay,
submitted.
girl. Just you, me,
You
and Dr.
talked about
Dada.
you talked about the personal aspect of why you went into optometry, but if you didn't wear glasses, and if your family, your siblings didn't wear glasses, do you think you still would have chose that field?
Optometry,
Mm-hmm.
probably,
Hmm.
because how my path was, that it kind of led me there. Because like I said, I kind of started off dentistry and kind of shadowed and saw different things. I was like, yeah, that's not for me. Then I kind of shadowed pharmacy and I was like, yeah, that's not for me. So it's kind of like me kind of going through the different paths and seeing the different careers, that I was exposed to or I've seen, and I was like, this one interests me. So I still think I mean, I probably would have been trying to go into the NBA, but that didn't work out. But no, I'm playing. But I probably would have I probably still did eyes
Hmm.
at the end of the day.
So now, let me ask this one question right quick. I know that a lot of people in the medical field, they go off and do mission trips, and I know that that's one of your passions. Why do you feel that that's even important to do?
Oh man, yeah, I used to tell even in school, I was the president of one of the clubs that we had a big mission trip. So I used to tell all the students, and even after I graduated, before you leave your whatever school you're in, go on a mission trip with the profession that you chose, because it opens up your mind on, first of all, the importance of the profession, and the importance of how much or how far just a little help can go.
Mm.
It just opens up your eyes to where in America we're very blessed, very, very blessed. um and even in my practice here, certain things that people complain of or I complain of, um it just gives you a different perspective on how to react to certain situations or react to certain people, um, because the little stuff you do, like there's a couple missions I went to where it's like we're basically doing full exam, in a um, open warehouse, no AC, but people will line for 4 to 5 hours before we got
Wow.
there to be seen. So literally 4 to 5, or even before, there'll be a line. So when we get there, there'll be a line of hundreds of people trying to be able to get an eye exam because they don't get that service. And so like it just blows my mind on how privileged we are here, and it gives me a different perspective on how to help and how to treat and how to deal with different situations. And now when I do give that person that gift of sight again, or whatever it is, it just gives you a new appreciation because
Hmm.
it's crazy out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Hanaya.
Um, so what's the most satisfying part of your job?
The most
I'm
satisfying.
supposed
Good
to be asking my
question.
next question, right?
No, that's a good. You're so funny. That's a good question. That's a
That's
question.
a good question. The most satisfying part of my job, I would say. I would say the most that is once just to generalize it. Once I give someone back the gift of sight. So whether it's a simple thing like here's your new pair of glasses, here's your
Hmm.
contacts, or here's maybe you had an eye infection here, we treated it, and they're like, oh my gosh, my eyes feel so much better, or
Yeah.
hey, you should have taken these drops to reduce your pressure, whatever it is. Once I see that satisfaction on their face, on that this what I did made a difference in their life. That that blows my mind, especially with kids. Once you give a kid the first pair of glasses, almost brings
Oh,
tears to my eyes, man. Because it's
that's
like you see their
good.
world opens up. Their demeanor changes. Not even like
Yeah.
like it's just crazy how much it affects them, and we don't realize how much the eyes affect them. But given the first pair of glasses, they had been seeing blurry all their life. Even
Yeah.
today, there's a girl that she was fine last year. This year, her vision's changed a lot. And
Hmm.
so we did the exam, and she realized it, but she didn't realize it. We did the exam, and I put some loose lenses over just to kind of show her what it'd be. And she was like this. And she
Mm.
just froze. And I was like, this is great. Like stuff like
Yeah.
that. Just
Yeah.
that's what makes my day, man. Stuff like that.
Speaking from experience, like my mom has 7 biological kids. We all wear glasses,
Yeah.
and I think it was either second or third grade. My school gave eye exams to see like what kids needed glasses,
Yeah.
and they said I needed them, and I was telling my mom, but we didn't really believe them because I thought I
Yeah.
could see fine. I thought I had
That's it.
20/20
Yeah. Yep.
vision, and I got my first pair of glasses, and I was like, oh, like I really couldn't see.
That's it. And that's what I tell people. You don't know what you don't know. Like you have nothing to compare to. So once you get your first pair, you're like, oh man, this is what the world should be like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, people call me like blind because I really can't.
Yeah.
Without my glasses, I can't really
Listen,
read words
Girl, I'm
listen.
the same way.
I
because it's
listen.
my focus. I can't focus words,
Yeah.
so everything is like blurry.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
faces are blurry. It
Yeah.
was
Mine too.
bad.
That's how. Me
Listen.
too. We are all in the same boat.
I agree. Yeah, I'm the same way. That's partly why. If I show how thick my glasses are, I understand completely, man.
But let me ask you something. Now I know a lot of parents probably going to get angry with me at me of asking this question, but I have always heard when I was a child, eat your carrots, it's going to help your eyes. You keep eating those carrots, it's going to help your eyes. Is that true? It
Depends on
sounds
who.
like a no by the laugh. Sure,
Depends on who's asking. Not playing.
I'm asking.
No, so there's some truth to it. There's some truth to it. So carrots have certain things that help promote eye health,
Okay.
but it's not going to give you your vision back. It's not like if you eat carrots all day, you're going to have 20/20 vision for the rest of your life. Because there's two main components on vision: it's genetics and then environment.
Mm.
So like if your parents or your family had glasses or had eye condition or refractive error, as we say, you're most likely, going to be affected some way. And
Mm-hmm.
then if, with now we see it more often like the digital age. So everything's here for kids, iPad, cell phone, and even school, Zoom, all this stuff is right here
Mm.
instead of before the classroom or playing outside and all that stuff. So now we're seeing more and more kids are developing nearsightedness.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So I mean, there's some truth to it where it does help, promote eye health, but it's not going to give you your vision back.
Mm.
Most times, if you need a glass, you're going to get glasses. There are certain ways you could do to kind of slow it down, or reduce, but it's not necessarily like you eat carrots, you're never going to get glasses again. I wish. I mean, I'd have been eating carrots all day.
Who you telling?
Oh no.
They got cute kids glasses now. My glasses, they were horrible. But Hanaya, you can go ahead with your next question.
Okay. Have to think of another one. Okay. Well,
or I can ask my question while you thinking, and then we can ping pong it back to you. Want to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what would you tell your younger self?
About
just about anything, like just you where you're at right now. What would you tell your younger self?
Oh man.
14, 15-year-old, 16-year-old.
I would say, I mean, there's some that's just broad.
Well, just give us one good one, Dr. Dada.
I gotta give you a couple. So I mean, what I tell myself is take advantage of every single opportunity out there. And whether it's with school, whether it's with your career, like shadowing, whether it's learning, because there's looking back out, there's so much things that I left on the table that I could have taken advantage that would have helped me, push me further along the way. Whether it's like scholarships, there's a lot of scholarships out there that, yeah, it's annoying. You have to write the same paper or this or that and apply, but it's out there. There's money to be given. Whether it's like extra classes or extra things to learn that would have helped me going on, I should have taken advantage. And even with saving, I always tell myself, if I'd have saved $20 a week since I was 14, I'd have a lot more money now, whether than spending it $20 on pizza and soda, what I'm saying, or video games, which is fleeting, I would have prepared myself for the future, which seems so far off, but it's not. Like, I still feel like I just graduated optometry school, whether it was like 9 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I still feel I'm still close with my friends in college, and it feels like yesterday, but it was like almost 20 years ago,
Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy?
So it's like time flies, but if you would take advantage of the resources that are out there, whether it's saving, whether it's, utilizing any, classes or information to learn, whether it's shadowing everything, from not waiting to college to start shadowing different careers now.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done that. Because it just makes everything a lot easier,
How would a professional though offer that? Like, let's say that Hanaya was in the Apopka area and she wanted to shadow you. How does that actually look for a professional and a student? Would you just let like them come in?
Yeah, I actually have a girl that was shadowing me. Now I brought her on to work, help me out. Like I hired her technically. She's still a student. She's about to go to optometry school.
Mm-hmm.
So
she's in high school?
No, she just graduated college. She's about to apply for optometry school. But she was shadowing me in college, and now I brought her on to help me out working.
Okay.
But she just reached out. Actually, a friend of hers, a friend of mine, mutual friend, reached out to me telling me about her, and then she reached out. But I have another student. I did like a kind of something similar to this with the UCF Pre-Optometry Club, and I had a couple kids reach out. Hey, I told them just text me. You can text me. You can email me. I don't know if everyone's like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm very easygoing and open because I know how it was back then.
Yeah.
I didn't get the same opportunities that, not everybody was opening the door for me to shadow and stuff like that. So I'm very open. So if you want to shadow, if it works with my, my time, just contact me. Or like I said, if you want to shadow a doctor, just contact them. I mean, the only thing they can say is no.
Right.
Or just show up, say, hey, I'm a student. Does the doctor
just show up?
Yeah,
like,
show up.
Who told you to do this? They say Dr. Dada is.
But show up and say, hey, I'm interested in shadowing. I mean, dress nice, have your either resume or whatever it is. I'm interested in shadowing. Can the doctor, does the doctor have time, or can he contact me, or is there a way to contact the doctor? and then reach out, because once a lot of professionals see the initiative, then they're more open to it,
That's
because
good.
we're
Yeah.
busy. I mean, I'm it's hard for me to kind of go out and say, hey, Hannah, you want a shadow? Hey, this, you want a shadow? But if the student reaches out to me, yeah, I'll put you in my schedule,
Yeah.
or we'll make time for it. So taking that initiative.
And I really think you said some like a couple of key things. Like as a student, you have to show that initiative, like you said, and do not be discouraged if a professional says no. Don't get
I got
discouraged if
plenty of no's.
10 professionals say no,
Yeah,
because that's life. You
yeah,
are going to have so many people telling you no just about different things. It's not just your professional world, but so many different things. And you have to just be persistent. You
yep,
like, shoot, that's that professional's missed opportunity,
yeah,
seeing what I have to offer. So that's why you just gotta keep going, be like, okay, next.
yeah.
Let me mark you off my little Google list. And then the other thing I would like to tell other professionals, just be open. When a student or somebody comes to you and asks you, like, if you could shadow them, if they can shadow you, like I just ask that you just be open to it, because so many people are just thirsty for
Makes a
being
huge
in that
difference, man.
career,
Yeah,
yeah, that they enjoy. And so, that's why I'm definitely thankful that I'm able to have this, because I was just so frustrated in my career path. I was like, you know what? I do not want any student to be dealing with this stuff
yeah.
that I'm dealing with. So that's why I do this. But if there is somebody that, let's say that we have a young person that's like, I'm not really a people person. Like, I don't want to deal with um, patients, but I enjoy the eyes. I want to learn more about that. What are some other careers or professions that somebody could still do in the field of optometry?
Um, so yeah, there's more clinical optometry, where you do more research. You
Mhm.
could work with different, manufacturers or vendors, that whether they're doing with medications, or doing with lenses, contacts, different things like that. And do the research portion.
Mhm.
Um, if you don't really want to deal with patients on a day-to-day basis, you can do academia. So you teach a couple classes, and then you kind of do more research on the side, or
Mhm.
whether if you're in academia, you could teach a couple, teach your classes, and then you kind of proctor the clinic, like you're trying to kind of manage a couple students, not
Mhm.
necessarily dealing with patients every day. You have to go in and kind of check things out, but it's not like a constant flow. Um, there's more. I mean, if you want, I mean, it just depends on how much patient interaction you want. Because you
Well,
could
I just
do
wanted
like
students to
therapy,
hear. Yeah, I wanted students to hear
the
like
different
the
options.
range.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do therapy. There's something called vision therapy. You still have to deal with patients, but it's on a slower pace. It's not like it's more like physical therapy. So you see, patient every couple months, kind of train their eyes and do different things
Mm,
like that. It's basically
never
physical
heard of
therapy for
that.
the eye. Yeah.
So what
So
is
it's
that like if somebody was to lose their vision and you're trying to like
yeah. So
help
that it could be cross-eyed, or patients that have focusing issues, patients that had a traumatic injury and they have to learn how to reuse their eyes again. Different things like that. It's
them?
basically the easiest way is physical therapy for the eyes. Whatever the physical therapist does for the rest of the body, there's some correlation, with regards to the eyes, on different exercises and different therapies to kind of do that. So, I mean, there's a couple of different careers. I mean, the majority is dealing with patients because we are physicians, but there is other paths that you can do. You can
So
manage.
so now what is the name of somebody that actually does the surgery on the eye? Because that's not what you do.
Yeah, so we do more minor surgery. So like, if someone has metal in the eye, or my
Oh
first
my
week out of
gosh.
optometry school, I had a patient that had an ant in his eye. I had to take an ant out of someone's eye. And I was like, yeah.
An ant? Was he
Imagine,
still
listen,
alive?
my first week out of optometry school, that's the first thing I have to do. No, the ant was dead, but under microscope, that thing looked like a squirrel. That thing was huge.
That's
But
disgusting. How did he get that?
he was cutting grass. And then so like he wasn't wearing protection, always wear protection. Wasn't wearing protection, and it flew into and got stuck. So I had to remove it. It was weird. But So we do more minor surgery, but an ophthalmologist is the ones that does like the LASIK. I mean, actually, our field is expanding. So I mean, some areas there's certain laser surgeries that we can do, and hopefully Florida that expands that too. But the ophthalmologist is the one that is like the LASIK, cataract, laser surgery, stuff like that. But they're more like the specialists that we refer to if you need extra treatment. We're more like primary care, like a primary care physician for the eyes, basically.
Okay. So it's good to have those like you still have to have those people skills because you have to have those relationships with those other offices that do those things as well. Hanaya, did you have any other questions? You're a great co-host, by the way. I just want to let you know, Hanaya, you are great.
Pretty good. You're pretty good.
Thank you. What's the most interesting case? Well, the ant is pretty interesting.
I was about to say outside the ant.
Can't get no better than that.
Did the person just come in and was like, my eye is bothering me, and it was just like an ant?
So basically, I see it all the time. Patient comes in, man, there's just something in my eye. I don't know what it is. It's just bothering me. It's been there a couple of days. I'm like, okay, let's take a look. So everything's so small.
Yeah.
You take a look, and under the microscope, you see a thing just trapped there. Patients come in all the time, like, I was cutting this, or I was welding, and just something, flew in my eye, and I don't know where it is. I've been trying to get it out. And you go in, and you just see like a piece of metal that you have to remove.
So you can do that in your office, you can remove that.
Yeah.
I guess I just never knew that you guys got that detail in. I always thought it was like a referral to ER.
Yeah.
And that's part of that is, optometry as a whole, where, it's been commercialized.
Yeah.
Lens craft division works, Target, all that stuff, glasses, contacts, get out of here, But that's another reason why I wanted to open up, because there's so much we can do. And, to give people a different perspective about optometry and be able to treat people better than prefer send out. No, we can just do it right here, quicker service, more pleasant, because a lot of those other places are busy, they're packed and patients have to wait hours, different things like that. So that's part of the reason why I was like, I wanted to open up my own to do more medical optometry rather than just more, retail optometry.
I didn't even know I'm telling you, Dr. Dada, we can have you on here. This is so interesting.
Yeah.
But let me ask you, we tell them we almost done. Just
that's
let
actually
us know.
A patient. They thought we were open.
Oh, no, we closed.
Yeah, we closed.
We are closed. But I'm so happy that you mentioned those other commercial places that we're so used to. And I can honestly say my first time ever going to, like, what would your office be called? Like, it's not a lens crafter, but what is yours called?
I'm a private practice.
Private practice. Yeah. So I went to my first private practice eye doctor like some years ago. And what he told me was so like specific to me, as opposed to when I went to just want to like at Sam's Club, just went to the eye doctor there. And I just couldn't believe it, because I'm like, I'm in my 30s and this is the first time I've ever hearing this.
Yeah.
And it's just like, with those commercial places, is it like more so like, we need to get this patient in, get them out?
And and nothing, because I worked in commercials. So I mean, it's I'm not trying to put a stigma on it.
Just say it.
But it's like, so it just depends on, at the end of the day, it depends on the doctor. Because even where I work, the commercial places I work, I still try to treat the patient the same. I didn't have all the equipment and all the resources, but I still try to give the patient as much information about their eyes as if, it was my practice. But with most commercial places, more, there's a certain time slot they need to see, that, there's a certain amount of patients they have to see. So it's more limited, and then it's separated. So the doctor's portion is separated from the glasses portion and the contacts and stuff like that. So there's not always that sense of continuity all the time between each. So they have a goal they need to make. Sometimes they push it on the doctor, hey, you need to see more, you need to see more. And then the doctor's like, oh man, I need to see more to make money,
Yeah.
But it just depends. There's some commercial places that are great. Like I said, where I was, I did the same. Patients will say the same thing. Oh man, it's the best exam I ever had. I'm like, what's the difference? This shouldn't be anything different than going anywhere
Because
else.
you just be shocked. You be like,
that's
never had this type of care.
So it's for me, it's as a physician, it's the mindset, like for me, I'm patient focused. I'll take less money to be able to give better care. And that's the same thing here. I take less money to give better care. Because that's my passion. I want to give the patient the best experience they can. But yeah, usually in a commercial place, it's more about numbers, a certain amount of slots they have. They don't have all the resources or equipment there. So a lot of it is referring out. But I try to be different here.
That's good. That's good. So tell us, Dr. Dada, why did you want to be a part of the Today I Want to Be products?
Because I didn't have it when I was when I was growing up. So for me, whenever I see, and this is why I'm passionate about kind of talking to the young people or students about, any profession or especially optometry, because growing up, I didn't have it. So if I did have it, and not just about optometry, any career, if I did have it, it would give me it would open up my eyes or made the journey a lot easier.
Yeah.
Than me having to do, put more time, be more proactive than my counterparts or whatever that had that exposure already, whether it's in their family, whether they knew someone that knew someone, or, taken to this career, that career, So when you reached out and I was like, this is what the plan is, this is what I want to do. I was like, of course. Like I wasn't like, oh, let me think about it. It's like,
he was fast on that.
As I got you, as long as I can make it happen, I'll do it. Because I always wish I had this going.
That's good. That's good. So Hanaya, you are going to end us out. I'm going to ask you this last question, Hanaya. And the question to you is, what did you learn from this interview that you did not know before?
Well, first I learned that you can you can pull. I didn't know that you can pull things out of people's eyes inside the office. Like that is just that's so interesting, because I'm careful. I always wear these glasses, and they're like big, thick glasses. So obviously, I don't got to worry about stuff getting in my eye. So it's never happened to me. But yeah, I don't think I wouldn't go into. No, I didn't know that. That is so. It's interesting, but it's like kind of nasty at the same time.
No,
but I guess because, like you said, Hanaya, we've never had to have that done. You know what I'm saying? So I always thought, when you go into the office, it's just strictly for getting that eye exam, picking up your contacts, picking up your glasses. And I really just thought that that's all y'all do. But you have really just opened our eyes, Dr. Dada. I definitely thank you so much for just being a part of Today I Want to Be. You are now officially a part of the family. We started way back in 2020.
Yeah.
And I definitely appreciate that. I just truly enjoyed you, Hanaya, you are just a great co-host. I'm gonna just tell your parents like they did such a good job.
You're gonna be a better doctor too. So I know. Speaking life.
Yeah, because you were thorough with your questions, and I just great. And I'm just like, I was not like that in ninth grade. I'm like ninth grade.
Yeah.
But I'm just so thankful for having you on the show, Hanaya. So that, because you are dreaming so big, with your goal. And I just truly hope that you just keep pushing forward, because you are going to be, I don't want to even say you are going to be great, because you are great now. So I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate your parents for letting you do the show. And so you all, thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Today I Want to Be Career Exploration interview. Our next interview is actually going to be on March the 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We will be interviewing a Black woman. Her name is Tiffany Teachy, and she is a senior mechanical engineer. Now, how many times have you seen a Black female that is a senior mechanical engineer? That means she's running stuff. So if you have a young person, a college student, a high schooler, or a middle schooler that's interested in asking her more questions about her career field, make sure you go to that description box, click on that link, and sign them up. Also, if you truly enjoy what you're doing, I know that I told you we're focusing on Black women, Black men, and Hispanic and Latina women next year, but make sure, even if you are, European, you Caucasian, and you want to be a part of this program, you definitely can, because I'm coming to you as well. So make sure you click on that link to go ahead and fill out the form to be a featured professional as well. If you know somebody that truly enjoys their job, make sure you go ahead and pass that link to them as well. We hope that you guys have a great remainder of night. Don't forget to go by our store, todayIwantToBe.com, and you will find that in the description box as well. Like I said, we hope you guys have a great night. And just stay safe out there. Get your eyes checked. How often should we get our eyes checked, Dr. Dada?
Every year.
Every year?
So it's like a physical.
Okay. Every year, every 2 years every 6 months for our teeth. That's what I learned Okay, Hanaya, please make sure. Don't even eat no sugar. It ain't worth it. I had a root canal, girl. Worse. All right. So we will talk to you guys later. Have a great